When exploring Christian environmentalism, we have to start from the beginning. In Genesis, God creates the heavens and the earth, as well as all living things. When he creates Adam, he instructs him to take care of the Garden of Eden. Later in Genesis, he states that it is a man's duty to be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. These instructions frame human beings as stewards of the earth, with their primary duty to protect the sanctity of God's creations. These ideas of humanity's responsibility help guide environmentally conscious Christians. Christian denominations with a fully ecocentric mission are not common, but in recent years the environment has been of increasing concern for Christians and their leadership. In 2015, Pope Francis published Laudato Si', or On Care for Our Common Home. This encyclical outlines how religion should have a relationship with science that discredits neither, and how world leaders should have an all-encompassing and powerful response to climate degradation. Quakers believe that climate change and the desecration of the earth is tragic. Organizations like the Quaker Earth Care Witness thrust Quakers into the fight for the environment. In 2010, the Presbyterian Church enacted the Earth Care Pledge, which called for energy-efficient churches and established community outreach programs for environmental justice. John Muir, a notable naturalist, was raised Presbyterian, and the church pushes environmental advocacy and is committed to sustainable investing, as well as encouraging their members to live eco-friendly lives. Southern Baptist churches were some of the first institutions to demand pollution control. Some churches have been resistant to change in climate advocacy, namely the Evangelical Church and the Church of Latter-day Saints. The initiatives that these denominations have taken toward a brighter ecological future are inspiring, and I'm glad that so many Christians have taken environmentalism so seriously. But I wanted to know more about what the average Christian can do to become more eco-friendly, so I visited my local church, St. John's Episcopal Church in Carlisle. The Episcopalian Church has done a lot of work in environmentalism through their political arm, petitioning for environmental justice, fighting climate change, and protecting biodiversity. This is great work, but I was curious what the average church was doing to help protect the environment. So I talked to Reverend Adam Cradell, the Associate Rector at St. John's. He told me that he believes environmentalism is essential to Christian faith. In Genesis, God created the earth and called it good. Therefore, he argues that Christians should protect his creation. He also wants humans to be around when Jesus returns, and protecting our resources is vital to keeping the human race thriving. At the church itself, they just invested in extra insulation for one of the buildings on the property, and they compost all of the waste from the church meetings. I even got to see his compost bins, which are located in his backyard. On top, you can see the coffee grounds from their most recent meeting. If a member of his congregation came to ask what they could do to lead a more environmentally friendly life, he would tell them that they should try to find efficient means of transportation, including an electric car, public transportation, or biking. He would also have them consider transitioning to a plant-based diet. In his personal life, he heats his house with wood pellets, which saves on electricity costs, and is planning on buying an electric car. When I asked him whether he's happy with the response that the Episcopalian Church has had to climate change and climate degradation, he said that he wished the focus shifted locally instead of federally. He believes that local individual action can be more effective than throwing money at the current administration, and has seen real change firsthand in his community. Talking to Reverend Cradell was really invigorating, and I loved seeing a small church community like St. John's take environmentalism so seriously. His encouragement of his congregation to be sustainable and the money invested in making their church more efficient proved that they were committed. I would love to see this enthusiasm replicated across all denominations and communities in churches across the United States. But starting small and planting the seeds of environmentalism in the minds of Christians is an important step. But for the moment, taking Father Cradell's advice about what you can do in your own life can keep our planet healthy to protect God's creation. I would like to thank Reverend Adam Cradell for meeting with me to talk about sustainability. He was incredibly accommodating and we had a great conversation. I hope he continues his great work at St. John's, and I hope that you learned something about how Christians are fighting climate degradation and enjoyed this short video.